Hello everybody, welcome back to Sonder County. In today's episode, we're going to be doing something pretty nice. We're going to be redoing the industrial area that I created during my stream on Friday night, which was a couple little bits ago. And also, Merry Christmas! I hope to get this video out by either Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, so if you get it by then whoop-de-doo, that's awesome. And then you guys can watch me instead of spending time with your family, which I kind of don't advise to do. Anyways, in today's episode, we're going to be revitalizing the industrial area, like I said, and we're also going to be removing a lot of the errors, as well as fixing our budget. I know that I'm playing on sandbox settings and money doesn't matter, but I just like to see green. I hate seeing red down on that budget panel. We are losing $127,000 an hour. That is abysmal. That is more than Amtrak loses in a month, and that is incredible how I could even manage to pull that off. So I decided to try and connect. That is what the aim of the game is. Ignore this part of the video because I ended up just tunneling underground because I don't know how to make an intersection for this. With the rail thing, like, it was annoying as heck to do. But anyways, continuing on, basically what I mean by connect is transportation is going to be a big name of the game for this episode, as well as fixing our budget and, redoing the whole industrial area. I feel like I've kind of repeated myself about 20 times now, but whatever, it's fine. So I wanted to create some transportation. After all, we have 14,000 people, and most of those people live in the town of Oxbow. Belfort has not gotten an episode in quite a while, and that's for an obvious reason. I didn't really want to, Belfort's kind of done. I could add in some small density homes, but it's never going to be a huge town anyways, so, but Oxbow will be, and it's only going to continue to grow as demand grows for jobs and for people and for homes and blah, blah, blah. So that means that with that, we are going to need some transportation options, and this comes from the means of trains, taxis, and buses for today's episode. I wanted to create a bus depot in the heart of this industrial area, as well as adding on one of our key points for this county, which is the E-Coil gas power plant. Power is going to be a big thing in this county. It's going to be what drives the people to come over and live here. It's where most of our workers are going to be. And it all starts with the gas power station, which I created right here. Honestly, I never really enjoyed having dirty industrial areas. I usually go nuclear as soon as I'm able to get it in City Skylines 2 and even in City Skylines 1, but I still think that it makes sense for a county to have some type of power station. This isn't going to be a small county. There will be a giant city that I'm going to build eventually. But of course, that's going to be in a long time from now, don't worry, because I still need to plan it out. I have no idea how I'm going to do that. But anyways, continuing on with what we're doing, I created a transformer station, which is essentially the power grid. If these 3 transformer stations all go out, the whole county goes out. And these 3 power lines, the first one's going to be mailed off and shipped off to another place, and then the other 2 will be mailed off to some larger towns and cities within Sonder County. So it sort of all just kind of works out, and there will be no bottlenecks. There was a bottleneck in one of the main streets, but it honestly never... It was like a little thing. I just added in another power line and it was fine. But something I always loved was creating power districts, you call them. I don't really know. I'm not an electrician. I'm not an electrical engineer, so I have no idea what these kinds of districts are called. But I guess public service. I don't really know. But anyways, it looked great. It looked functional. It looked fun. And I love designing areas like this because this is what makes the town stay alive. It's the reason people are able to heat their homes, cool them. It's the reason you're able to go to the hospital when you get a boo-boo. Power stations are immensely important to any sort of community, and if it doesn't have a power station, the chances are it gets it somewhere else. And it is crucial that you have one as soon as you can in City Skylines 2, especially because it can help fix your budget, which I was trying to do in this episode. And that gave me a motive to build a power station so I don't have to buy power from a neighboring city. And it honestly just looked great. I mean, look at this. It looks awesome, it looks fun, it looks functional, and that's all that really matters, huh? Nothing needs to be complex. No complex interchanges were built in this episode. I don't deem it to be important because, after all, realistically, the citizens of this county, they're all robots. They will pathfind and they'll figure out a way to get there. But if anybody has some sort of suggestion of how to actually connect this place up and make it look a little bit more realistic, please let me know down in the comments below. I appreciate all sorts of feedback. But back to this. The cargo, realistically, rail infrastructure to me is not only very important, but it's also a little bit tedious. I play a lot of Transport Fever 2, and while I'm able to grasp the concept there, in City Skylines 2, I just cannot seem to get it. Even though it's a way more simpler, even though it's a more simple version of how Transport Fever 2 does it, because that's solely based on transportation, and City Skylines 2 it's not, and yet it still feels complicated. It's mainly designing the buildings that actually go in there, because I'm trying to make it aesthetically look pleasing, but again, I don't know what these buildings actually look like in real life. They look incredibly confusing to me. The districts are humongous, so they require vast amounts of land, and I don't even know if I built this area right. I was going to try and build it as sort of a transportation hub with a large amount of industry to obviously get some workers and lower our unemployment count, but I just didn't seem to be able to figure it out. I only got the bus depot, which I didn't even think looks that good. This build, I feel like I'm falling off with how good and quality-based these videos have become. So I'm sorry if it seems like I'm not trying these videos, but I really am. A lot of it is spent, like this water treatment plant. I just placed it down because we needed water. That's not something I usually do, and it's also something that I kind of feel bad about. So, it's not necessarily that I'm not trying in these videos, it's just sometimes I get really busy, IRL, and I can't really work on this, and I try to get it out as fast as possible so you guys aren't busy waiting like sitting ducks all the time. But anyways, enough of my rambling. This is the bus depot. It sucks, I know, we're gonna fix it in the future episode. But this is the first part of our transportation network, which was the Central Oxbow Bus Integration System, which I'm calling whatever the heck the acronym for that is, but it's basically connecting everybody in Oxbow to one bus network, and I ended up creating a second one that led into the industrial area because I guess it just made sense. I lowered the fees down for the bus depots because it makes more sense. Especially in more modern times, you're starting to see the push for public transportation. I don't want a car, cars are expensive, gas is expensive now, so I'm gonna start taking the bus. But I'm paying $80 a month for a bus pass, and now I don't want to pay that much for it. I know gas is expensive, but geez, this is even worse. And that's sort of the mentality that I went in with building this. I wanted it to be accessible, and I wanted to sort of get a nice push. I can raise the prices now if I want to, because people are actually using it, but right now it has to be cheaper so that people get the incentive to use it, and then because the way that pathfinding works in this game, it's very close to real life, I would have to say. Oh, and here's the area where I tunneled because I gave up in trying to make an intersection. But anyways, it's very similar to how real life works. You're gonna get people who are always gonna use the bus every day and don't own a car, and they're gonna be fine with the price, with the extra price, if the prices ever go higher up, because they're like, oh, well, I mean, at least I don't have to pay for gas. And that's sort of like how it all boils down. And also adding in these rail networks really helped out, because now we have cargo trains as well, not just passenger trains going from town to town to city. And speaking of trains, real quick, I don't know if I did it now in the video. I honestly don't know what I'm doing here. I'm adding taxi stands. Of course I would. Why wouldn't I? I also added in some nice little transit decal services right in front of the train station, because that kind of just made sense, and it would allow people to not just crash right into a bus. And then I added in a recycling center, the Japanese recycling center, which looked nice and modern and sleek and fun. And then I disabled and renamed the gas power plant to the E-Coil power station, and renamed this district to the E-Coil Transportation / Industrial Center. And it looks incredible. I'm honestly super impressed and super surprised on just how much effort that I actually put into this, just for one industrial area. I could have just slapped this down in the town and just called it a day, but no. That industrial area is going to be used for the entire county, which is why I put it away from the towns, because it's gonna get a lot bigger. Of course, I built this industry near water, it's going to be huge. Of course, I have no incentive to make it huge right now, but trust me, it will happen. And these buses look amazing. I even added in some nice taxi stands around Belford, because while Belford is not big enough to support rail infrastructure, it is big enough to support some taxis and buses. And then, this was the fun part, this was one of the best parts of the entire episode, was creating a central park for Oxbow. I created one, I think, a little bit back ago, but I haven't the foggiest of how exactly it went down. But anyways, I wanted this to sort of be the result of a push for environmentalism, as you can see by the solar-powered parking lots that power electric cars and whatnot. The people of Oxbow seem to have been incredibly upset by the fact that there is now a gas power plant instead of a nuclear power plant or, anything else that could be cleaner. And of course, they don't like it. So they were like, hey, can you stop making our air like really dirty and gross? And they were like, okay, yeah, well, instead of fixing that, we'll build a park. I want to imagine the government of Oxbow is like really shady, like immensely shady. Like they take people's money and they just kind of run away with it, but people don't bother it because the living standards are so high and the social pressure is so immense in the town that like you can't do anything without getting penalized for it. I think about this town a little too much. It's a video game. I probably shouldn't be this obsessed with it, but I mean, hey, you know what? Whatever, man. It's not like I'm creating like full-on books about this town. I mean, I could if I wanted to. It's not, I mean, how hard could it be to write a book after all? But anyways, I created a nice little lake area. It didn't end up filling up. Like it like just didn't fill up as much as I wanted it to. But whatever, man. It works. I don't really care. And then this is the Oxbow Park of Remembrance, the Oxbow Park of Remembrance, to remember the founding fathers of this town, who shall not be named because I haven't found a name for them. But it's fine, whatever. This area I ended up doing something with. I just went around for trees and small decorations because somebody on stream said that my town looks barren. They're right, it does. There's like no trees anywhere. It's really weird. I probably should have thought of that before building all this. And then right here is where I expanded out the industrial area, and this is when it housed 2,000 employees right after this. And it looked awesome. It looked great. It looked functional. Like, it doesn't look silly. I mean, it looks kind of silly how there's two industrial blocks just kind of spread out, but what can you do, man? And then I added in some oil on this side, and the biggest reason for this was because it'll be for a future episode. I can't really say what it'll be for, but it'll be for something real special, real nice. I'm just gonna leave it at I've been researching what oil fields look like. And you see all this traffic? Watch it all disappear the second that I put in this train station. Like, it's insane. It went from like back up all the way to the highway to now there's just nothing. And then this is when I try to figure out, hey, how can I put a rail station in Belfort? And I could have very well have done it, but it would require me to dismantle that giant gas station that I built a couple episodes ago that I really detailed, and I didn't want to get rid of it because there was too much detail going on. And like, yeah, that's it. Like, I just didn't feel like doing it. And so that's where Belfort gets the whole like they're not gonna get any larger because of the fact they can't handle the infrastructure to get larger, and that's perfectly fine, whatever. I went around for some jagged edges that I created during stream. Again, this whole area was created during stream, but of course I was eager to build what even was it? I don't even remember now at this point. A gingerbread house, of course. I went around and built a gingerbread house, and of course I was excited to do that, so I wanted to get this done and over with. So this is just this entire episode is literally just me, like, trying to find areas that I messed up and that I could have done during stream. I could have done all this during stream, but I needed to find time for the gingerbread house, of course, so that meant, whatever. But anyways, we're back in the industrial center. We're adding in some more industry, even more industry. I think this place holds 3,000 people. I'm not too sure. I haven't checked yet. And I know people say, like, don't put commercial where industrial is. In what sense would that make any sense? Because if you think about it, people got to get lunch. People want to get, grab a bite to eat during their lunch break or whatever, or during break or before they come in. So it makes sense to have commercial where industrial is, because what are people going to do during their break? They're going to do nothing? Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. And then everybody was dying, so I put in a modern architecture building where the green infrastructure was being placed. That little apartment complex that I created during my review for the Urban Promenades DLC, I'm pretty sure it was. Added in a couple parks, you know, nothing too crazy, but it works wonders, and it works well, and it works amazingly. And then I adjusted the tax rate, and now we are only losing about like 20,000, I think, an hour. I think I got it down to like 4,000 by the end of the episode. It was really crazy. And the main reason, again, is because I want this town to look profitable. I want the county to seem profitable. I wanted it to be as if the government gave the board of directors like a bunch of money, and then they were like, all right, have at it. And in order to make some more money, I also went ahead and put down some UK detached homes, just a small suburb right there near the supermarket, because I guess it just made sense, you know, some architectural inclusivity. And then just some final tunements, and this was the episode. I really hope you guys did enjoy this. I know it seems like I'm kind of rushing, but I want to get this out before Christmas because I know you guys want to go see your families. So without further ado, everybody, my name is Brett, and this was Sonder County. If you have any sort of suggestions or areas that I should improve upon, please leave a comment down below, and I'll get to it as soon as possible. Trust me, I got a list, and I'm checking it twice. Gonna find out who's naughty or nice. All right. See you guys later, and let me know down in the comments below what you got for Christmas, because I guarantee this will be released after Christmas. So bye!